Just clicked. Here I am. I'm just holding this phone. So, happy January Fool's Day. I say that belatedly because it's obviously, I think it's the 5th, 2026. God, who never knew I'd make it this far? Oh, my. So, we're starting off with a bang. I guess Donald Trump went into Venezuela and kidnapped their president, Maduro, drug him up to New York. They're going to put him on trial for running drugs or something. Oh, my. Why is this happening? That's my question. Why is this happening? And I can't figure it out. You know, you look at the news, you look at the internet, you look at people's opinions, blah, 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 blah. You know, all this damn social media, all it does is just make confusion. Yeah, there's some truth on it, but it's just, it's like, you know, what's going on, man? I don't know. Switch hands here. I do know this. It's not about drugs. And if you think it's about drugs, you know, we're trying to stop drugs coming into the country, you're a moron. You're an idiot. And you really need to just go hide, you know, because you're stupid. CIA, ever since it's been in business, has been dealing drugs to fund their operations, their secret operations. You know, they bring drugs into the country, they sell them to the people through the mafia, the money gets laundered through the Vatican Bank, and then they can reclaim it and fund their operations. That's how it works. They love the drugs. They love the drugs. They love the drugs. Don't let them fool you. You know, I grew up, you know, I remember when Reagan was president, and his old tranny lady, she's like, hey, we need to start a war on drugs. All right. You ever hear of a thing called Iran-Contra? You ever hear of a dude named Ollie North? You ever hear of a governor of Arkansas called Slick Willie, Bill Clinton? Yeah. They were trading drugs for arms and getting money and just, they love the drugs. They love the drugs. You look up videos on Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia, you'll see them there doing the fentanyl fold. They call it the fentanyl fold, where they're just so bugged out on fentanyl and trank, which I guess is a veterinary drug. It's like a horse tranquilizer. And you're just people just bent over. They love it. I don't love it. I think it's sad. I feel sorry for these people, man. There by the grace of God go I. But don't think this government cares about whether you're on? They want you on drugs. You want to go after drugs? Go after the big pharma companies, maybe. How many people died from the vax? Just saying, you're worried about killing people. Yeah, they're worried about killing people. They want you dead. They're worried about how we going to kill all these people. Well, let's give them drugs. And let's say we're against drugs. We're against drugs, but yet there's drugs. Why is there drugs? I got a personal question. Why is my neighbor a meth dealer, allegedly, and the cops know it, allegedly, and yet it still goes on? Is he a narc? Is he a narco-terrorist? You know what I'm saying, man? It ain't about drugs. It ain't about fucking drugs. They love the drugs. Cocaine ain't the problem anyway in this country. Cocaine's always been a rich man's drug. My days, I've never done it. I've never had the pleasure of trying it. I've tried crack twice, but I've never snorted anything up my nose. They love the drugs. So why are we going into Venezuela and kidnapping their president? Is it about oil? Some say it's about oil. It's the oil. It's the oil. It's the oil. That may be part of it. I don't know. There's just so much confusion surrounding it, just like every big news story. There's so much freaking confusion surrounding it that you don't know what's going on. And meanwhile, you're trying to figure out how you're going to get groceries this week. You see what they're doing? And Trump gets up there and he's like, we're going to go in, we're going to send our oil companies in there. And we're going to take over their oil infrastructure and we're going to help the Venezuelan people. They're going to have it made now. Well, how much oil does the United States have? We got a lot of oil. How's it helped you? It ain't helped me none. It helped me a little bit because I used to drive water bottle for freaking fracking industry. So I was able to have a job out of it. But are you getting a check from the oil revenues in this country? No. You're struggling to buy a fucking bag of carrots, man. Unbelievable. So it ain't about the drugs. I don't think it's about the oil. I think the only thing I've heard that makes any kind of sense is that it has to do with China. Because China has a lot of money invested in Venezuela in their oil extraction infrastructure and their ports. And China don't really do a whole lot of stuff unless it could be used economically and militarily. That's pretty smart. I think it'd go down to the, anytime you have an empire, and its death throes, it lashes out. Is that what this is? Was Venezuela trading oil with China in the yuan instead of the petrodollar? I don't know. It's something to look into. I just know this for a fact. This is the only fact I know, is what they tell you in the mainstream media is a lie. It has, you know, anything that comes out of Trump's mouth is a lie. And I'm not saying that because I'm anti-Trump. Don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-Trump. I'm anti-government. I'm anti-politician. Okay? It wouldn't matter who's in there. I'd be saying the same thing. Whatever comes out of their mouth is a lie. You know, I mean, when I remember when I was a kid, just a little boy, and I was growing up, and I'd hear the old ones tell jokes. They'd say, you know how you know when a politician's lying? No, how? Their lips are moving. You know, so just, you know, don't believe nothing they say. You know, you gotta look into it for yourself. And now the internet is so corrupted with AI, we don't know what's real. You know, personally, I think the only truth we have in this world is the Bible. And, you know, I don't even really want to call it a Bible, because which Bible you talking about? You talking about the King James? Talk about the Douay-Rheims, the Jesuit Bible? You know, the Bible's been corrupted. I go with the King James. I think it's the least corrupted. But it's scripture. And I think that's the only truth we have in this world. And that's why you got to compare everything to scripture. You know? That's my 2 cents in on it, you know. I got problems of my own. You know, they got poor old Maduro up there in the New York jail. Is he going to kill himself? Is he going to kill himself, and then him and his old lady be sitting in a hot tub with Epstein in Jerusalem somewhere? You know, I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. Yeah, look at this poor bastard. He's just laying there. He's moving. He's wore out. I don't know what happened to him. It's weird because this represents most Americans right now. This is about how they feel. They can still move a little bit, but they're like, you know, they're like, you know, fuck it, man. They're tired, wore out, cold, hungry. It's weird, huh? He's just laying there. He's just laying right here. I don't know where he is. Oh well, I'm not a cinematographer. Yeah, man. Trump's talking about how he's going to help the Venezuelan people. What about the American people? Wasn't it about making America great again? Why are we trying to make Venezuela great again? That's a question. Oh well, this is probably getting way too long. It's almost 15 minutes, so I'll just say, hey, happy January Fool's Day, belatedly. I hope y'all have a better year than you had last year. I certainly hope I have a better year than I had last year, because last year sucked for me. If you had a good year last year, I hope you have a better year this year. You know, I just want to say if, you know, they talk about New Year's resolutions. I've never really participated in any of that. But if you want to make a New Year's resolution this year, my suggestion for y'all and for myself is to, number one, seek truth. Number two, reevaluate what you believe. Especially when it comes to prophecy and the Bible, you know, make sure it's true. You know, you rethink everything you believe about God and about the Bible, about prophecy, about reality, and make sure it's authentically true. I think that'd be a good New Year's resolution. But it ain't the New Year. It's the beginning of winter. So I sent out texts on my text machine to most of my contacts, not all of them, but most of them, the ones I care about. I said, Happy January Fool's Day. And I'm hoping to remember on April 1st, say Happy New Year. Anyway, y'all have a good day. I'm just hanging out with my dogs down at the river today. All right. Be safe. Bye.